Our third-party Dragon Ball figures Hazardous. Now, why am I doing this video in the first place? Well, there's a couple different reasons, but the first and most obvious reason is because, this is a video been long overdue, specifically because I've seen a couple comments of people that are just getting into the third-party Dragon Ball action figure scene, and as we know, there's constantly new collectors getting into this hobby, and there's been a couple times where a person was like, are these things safe? And I was like, yo, I assume that they are. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't be. And I guess the next question would be, why would someone even ask this in the first place? Well, they would ask it in the first place because just off the strength that, a third-party company is not the official company. So they might think along the lines of, well, if they're not the official company producing this, then maybe they're not even bothering to follow some of the guidelines or the safety practices that the official company may have to abide by, unless they want to face a lawsuit. And so I'm here to say, while I can't tell you exactly the materials that third-party figures are made out of, they generally have the same feel and a general same look. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to assume that, hey, they use some of the same materials. Now, what are these materials that the official product uses? Because this is going to be very important in general. Typically, if you go on a Premium Bandai website and you look up their figures, right? Let's just take Premium Bandai Zarbon, for example. You scroll down and you'll see it says it uses PVC and ABS. So those are the two main materials we're going to focus on for this video. And, that'll bring us to the next thing. Well, not even the next thing, what I just talked about. Basically, what are these materials made of? And ABS stands for acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. Try to say that 3 times fast, right? So, from my own research, right? This material is not hazardous in the slightest. It is used in something as simple as Lego bricks. And we know that Legos are one of the most popular toys in the world. And as we can see on the screen, just from a simple Google search, right? These things seem to not be toxic. The toxicity comes in when it says fumes when heated in a 3D printer, but a lot of us aren't using a 3D printer. We just collecting action figures, so we don't have anything to worry about. It says it's not a carcinogen, so we don't have to worry about that. ABS can be melted down and molded into new products. So far so good. ABS is good money. You don't got to worry about ABS. If you want to know further things on ABS, you can do your own research. This is just supposed to give a quick overview, or a more simplified overview of, what third-party plastics figures could be made of, because I doubt it differs so dramatically from the official product. Now, ultimately, is there any way to really find this out, or to substantiate this besides me saying, well, I doubt it. I doubt that it's just that different. Well, that just seems to be the industry standard in terms of action figures, ABS and PVC. And just, as a side note, getting off topic a little bit, you got to keep in mind that this is what I'm trying to say. You have to keep in mind that if these companies did truly use toxic materials, these smaller companies really can't afford, or these smaller distributors, for example, 5K Toys, can't afford to have that type of reputation. They're already a relatively small business to begin with. So if it's found out that this small business is selling toxic product, that is a huge blow to their reputation, especially since, for example, I'm just using 5K Toys for example. 5K Toys, we can get a lot of cool collectibles from there, but oftentimes a complaint that I've heard is customer service is not the best, right? Or that is just straight up bad. So you got bad customer service and you selling us toxic products? That would be terrible. Now, I'm not saying that that's what 5K Toys is doing. I'm not saying that they're selling toxic products, because I know some people are hard of hearing and don't listen properly. So I have to clarify that, But what I am saying is, just if you put all those factors together, that just makes a really bad look for the company. Now, let's move on to PVC. What does PVC stand for? It stands for polyvinyl chloride. It is a synthetic plastic that is used in many products and applications. Once again, this is just a simple Google search. It's not no super in-depth, month-long research or months and years of research, right? It's durable, lightweight. Here's the different applications that it's used in. It's used in piping. PVC pipes are flexible and can bend without breaking, make them a good choice for handling heavy-duty traffic and soil. Now, that's just one thing. As you can see, there's multiple other things that it's used for as well. Now, the main thing we care about for us, well, you should care about these other things because it's going to come back into play. Is it toxic for us to handle? And typically, when we're handling action figures, this is just skin contact type of, interaction. So now that we know what PVC is, the next question I had is, are PVC toys safe? Because for all intended purposes, these collectibles are toys. We may not want to call them that sometimes because it might, seem childish, but they are toys. And this is the first thing that comes up. PVC toys also contain toxic plasticizers that leach, flake off gas over time, increasing the risk from asthma to cancer. Children that suck on PVC teething rings and pacifiers, that's kind of irrelevant to us because we're not putting these things in our mouth. But the reason why I brought this up is is to say that PVC isn't completely safe. So if PVC is your ultimate worry, then maybe this isn't the hobby for you, because a lot of these collectibles use PVC. In fact, a lot of things in life in general, as we saw with the previous example, it was like pipes use PVC and all these different things. And that PVC, I've seen some articles where it's saying that PVC chemicals can leach into water, specifically when it comes to piping. So that seems to me be like, if toxicity is your worry, I would say you have bigger issues to worry about than your collectible being a thing to kill you or to give you some type of hazardous ailment in the future. And one thing I also want to add as well is that these products don't just use PVC alone, right? It's ABS and PVC. Now the question would be, what percentage of it is ABS? What percentage of it is PVC? I'm going to assume that for the sake of avoiding lawsuits, you would, as a company, use more ABS than PVC. But, also the flip side to that would be anything that a company can get away with, they will get away with. Or if they figure they can get away with this because it's cheaper, they will try to get away with it. But for the sake of, long-term lawsuits and things of that nature, I think it's safe to assume that these figures is not going to be the thing to kill you. If toxicity is ultimately what you're worried about, you got to start worrying about the piping, the literal infrastructure, and where you live. Literal plastics that you use that contain your food items, So, ultimately, it seems to come down to a level of, microplastics and the chemicals that can leach into things for consumption. Direct consumption seems to be a much bigger issue than, just handling an action figure. Once again, I want to emphasize also, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy on YouTube talking about this, and I just figured all this out through a quick Google search. Now, I'm sure there's people that know a lot more about this and are going to be super eager to correct me if I'm wrong on something. And, feel free to do so. Just keep it respectful because, some of y'all come off, not even to me, just in general. I realize a lot of people come off very passive aggressive on the internet. And so, if we could just keep the peace, or if you're saying yo bomb, you got this wrong, then feel free to correct me. I'm never have a problem with being corrected. Like I said, just keep it respectful. Now, ultimately, what would really be bad is if these things use something like lead paint or something. And as far as I know, none of these things are using lead paint. In fact, I would say that in the time that I've been collecting, I've never heard of anybody getting some type of sickness or ailments from action figures. That goes across all lines, not just third-party Dragon Ball action figures, not just Tamashii Nations, SH Figure Arts, Marvel Legends, Mafex, Figma, Masters of the Universe, DC, Multiverse, all that stuff, right? I've never heard of anybody getting sick from this stuff. And for the most part, really and truly, most of y'all just gonna have it on your shelf anyway. You know? So, there's that. But with all this being said, I hope this was, you know, enough to at least inspire some type of discussion. Because this is more like less me giving you a definitive answer and more me presenting information to you and you doing further research, or you like, this is kind of like an open thread on Reddit. This is the opening post and you guys say what y'all want. But once again, or not say what y'all want, but you know, just add to the discussion, you know, inform each other. Let's help each other out. But with all this being said, this has been BombasticPlastic. I'm always grateful for your support. Stay fantastic. Peace.